All right, folks, I'm here with one of your favorites. Jim Willie's with me today, and we're going to be talking about finance, his finance report. He is the editor of golden-jackass.com. And I got to tell you, folks, people love him. People love him. And we'll be doing part of the podcast here, the other part on Nino's Corner.tv when we go full. When we do that, that means we're on Nino's Corner. We'll be on Nino's Corner.tv. And speaking of finance, folks, get your Noble Gold. Get your Noble Gold. Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full time researcher. You got a life to live, folks. Your investment should help you live your life. That's why more Americans are choosing gold and silver. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Noblegoldinvestments.com. Freedom and peace of mind delivered at 1 ounce at a time. Get over there, folks, and get started. I know Colin Plume, he's a great guy. All right, Jim. Everyone says we're going into this new system, this new system, this golden age. What's going on?
Well, I still believe that the cabal is interfering with this. Let me just say that there's a lot of resistance, okay? The old system has a lot of devoted players, and I don't want to be too critical of them, but there's a lot of resistance. Hey, Nino, Wall Street has its ways of doing business. And the golden age, the new age, will restrict them in many of their activities that they enjoy doing that are very profitable. That crossed the line. Let's just leave it at that. I do believe we're moving closer to a gold standard and to a crypto like stablecoin slash XRP standard. And we better get with the program. I had some conversations with some colleagues in the last few days. The United States is dragging its feet, and I believe it's the banker set that is dragging their feet because they enjoy their way of doing business, which is very profitable. But let me just throw a wrinkle in right out of the gate. One thing that Wall Street loved to do, and they did it in the 1990 decade, that was a segment of time for great learning for me. The 1990 decade. Pardon my glasses, but I just can't. The last year, my vision has slipped a little bit. I never
Well,
needed
at least
glasses.
you're wearing a shirt today.
Yeah, well, that can come off in about five
At least
seconds.
you're wearing a shirt.
Oh,
You're not
okay.
showing your carpet chest.
No, no, not today. Wall Street in the 1990s did something that is now beginning to unwind, Nino, and it's very big. I mean, it's bigger than big. It's a few $1 trillion that they borrowed of Japanese money at 0% 30 years ago. And they bought treasury bonds, and they did it year after year. They rolled over some, but they continued and grew the volume. And I think it's being estimated at 3 trillion, but I think it's closer to 10. Okay,
So,
they borrowed 0% Japanese money and they invested in treasury bonds in the trillions. They earn hundreds of billions of dollars a year. They earn maybe 2 to 3, 4 trillion dollars. And now it's beginning to unwind because the Japanese are raising interest rates. There's a lot going on in the financial world, and it is not in the Wall Street Journal.
okay, so what is a big, beautiful bill? How is this going to affect this? How is it going to affect? Is this going to be? A lot of people are saying this is the end of America Inc. This is how Trump ends America Incorporated. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I think that that's simultaneous. USA Corporation and the links to the Vatican are going away. So we've got the big, beautiful bill. you know, this is almost funny. It's going to add at least $3 trillion to the debt. And we're already on an upward trajectory. It's going to accelerate upward the debt. That's the biggest part of this. Okay, there's a lot going on, and I wrote some notes. There's state and property tax deductions That's one clause. Faster depreciation, like 1 year depreciation on equipment for certain businesses. Standard deduction for individuals has gone up. A higher 1099 threshold. But the dark side is that it's 560. Oh, I don't know what that note is. Social Security deduction is now 6,000. They couldn't. Trump wanted to eliminate all taxes on Social Security, but he couldn't. Medicaid mandates are going to be very unpopular. And the bottom line, okay,
But that's
I
because
don't
of
look at
the Medicaid mandates. That's mainly for the illegal immigrants that were here, correct? That's the
yeah, that's not mainly. They're included. I mean, my brother is on Medicaid. My brother, the Biden moron, the New York Times idiot. My brother is on
Oh, I hope he's not
Medicaid.
watching this.
He never watches any of this. He reads the New York Times, and okay, when you get the CBO, which is what the Congressional Budget Office, I believe, they said it'll add 2.8 trillion in the next 10 years, nine plus years in debt. Okay, that's in addition to what we're already adding in debt, and we're adding like 1.5 to 1.8 trillion. Oh, I look more to the continuing. Now, the committee on responsible federal budget, they said 5.5 trillion extra in addition. Okay, the big beautiful bill is a big beautiful debt machine. Now, I got an opinion, and it's my own opinion. It's not my colleague's opinion. I came up with it myself. I think the big beautiful bill is designed to break the U.S. government debt and force a default and just get it
Therefore,
over
breaking
with.
America Inc.
Well, yeah, and I've said this before. I think Trump is going to do a dead level best to put the debt around the neck of the owners of the USA Corp, and that is the Vatican, the London bankers, and the Swiss bankers. It's principally the Vatican, but London Center is part of the big three, the Empire Three Cities, London Center. All right. I think Trump wants to break the US government debt once and for all. He's never really said much since he got inaugurated. He's never said much about we're going to bring down this deficit in a big way. No, he talks about economic growth, and he believes that growth will improve our debt picture, but not our past. We've got an albatross around our neck, a millstone around our neck. We got cement shoes around our feet.
But he says we're
We
going
can,
into the golden age.
after we break away from the past and the USA
When,
Corporation is dead.
when does
And
that? When do you see that happening?
I think it's like a 2 year process,
Oh
and
man.
he's acting like it's a 2 month process. It could be 3 or 4 months, but we got resistance from every powerful corner that makes money in this system, which does not like the blockchain. These bankers don't like the blockchain, period. Okay, why? Because it's open auditing, it's open books. Okay, we have powerful resistance in very big forces. I think what's going on that's very interesting right now is the Trump versus Powell battle. He's asking Powell to resign. I've never seen in all my years. Now I'm getting to be an elder statesman, Nino, and I'm not accustomed to this. I've got 21 years in the newsletter, and I'm 73 years of age. I started the newsletter when I was like 52, and I was, an economic devotee. I read a lot of Wall Street journals. I read a lot of Barron's. Barron's was an education for me. Barron's, not Wall Street Journal. I look at the advertisers in Wall Street Journal, and I see one fund after another, one bank after another, one consultancy after another. So they're not going to really preach against themselves. But Barron's doesn't seem to care. I learned a lot. A guy named Pesek, Pesek, he taught me a lot about economics, a lot. Okay, so here I am. I'm now an elder statesman, but I'm not a big veteran of finance. I'm a marketing research analyst who, changed hats. Okay, this big, beautiful bill is like a federal government continuation bill, loaded with debt. Loaded with a little bit of
on
crap.
purpose.
I
I
think
mean, it's
so.
also, but it's also strengthening. It's actually giving us a domestic military. That kind of worries me a little bit. Like, are we headed into a police state?
Well,
That
we're
worries me
already
a little
there.
bit.
We're already
I
there.
know, I know.
I,
Then you
I
add
didn't.
Palantir into this, and it's just said, I don't know.
I don't know about the police state features of the bill. I actually read a really good article and I took notes, and this is the gist of it. But we can't get to the golden era until we have a resolution of the U.S. government debt. Now, I've said this before, and it might come to pass. Trump has more than 100,000 tons of gold. Trump is in control. Team Trump, more than 100,000 tons of gold. And just think of, very rough mathematics, napkin math. 100,000 tons is about 10 trillion. It might be 11 or 12 right now because the gold price has gone up. So a little over $10 trillion worth of gold would be 100,000 tons. This is a football field full of gold chest high. You got to realize it's not a truckload. It is a boatload of gold. It's a football field load of gold. I believe Trump, and my sources, I got a really good military source with a lot of details and a lot of scientific information. We've had a lot of activity, and I don't want to get into tribunals on this part, but there is a tremendous amount of gold that is available.
Did they take a lot of the gold from the Vatican? I've heard that conspiracy.
Yeah, but don't get confused and lost with the 750 plane loads. That's not even 2 Fort Knoxes. That's not a lot of gold. That's
But
airplanes.
I've
It's
also
not
heard the
boats.
Philippines.
The Philippines is a completely different story. We raided the Vatican. Okay, we raided the Vatican. We got a lot of gold. Okay,
Is this from your sources or is this
yes,
something you
yes,
read or
yes.
what?
No. It's my source said that let's just call it the Charlie. What's his name? Charlie, the British guy. Charlie,
Charlie
the very
Ward.
very, the very very guy. You know what I mean by the very
Charlie
very guy?
Ward. I
He's very
don't
very.
know. Very, very.
Yeah, Charlie Ward. He's very very. He's a very very everything very 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 very. Everything is very very with him. Very very good. Very very strong. Very okay. Anyway, he said that we got 750 plane loads of gold. Do the math on the Hercules aircraft. It's 14 to 15,000 tons. It's not even 2 Fort Knoxes. That's not a big amount of gold. My military source says we got 30,000 tons out of the Vatican. 30,000. We got about 4 Fort Knoxes.
But you know what?
That's
You know what I think is better than gold?
water.
Collagen.
What?
Collagen, folks. Get your collagen. The
Okay.
science is in. A clinical trial found that just 10 grams of collagen a day for 8 weeks led to a roughly 20% increase in skin hydration and a 17% improvement in elasticity while also visibly reducing wrinkle depth. If you want to help your skin recapture its health and vibrancy, it's clear that collagen is essential. This is why I use this secret magical powder, and I'm obsessed with the results, folks. Multi collagen provides my skin with 5 types of premium collagen to help attack wrinkles from every angle. I'm seeing smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, and a more youthful glow, folks. Plus, multi collagen mixes smoothly with my morning coffee, which I do take it every day, or tea. There's no clumping or zero added flavor. Do yourself a big favor and grab yourself a bag of ageless multi collagen now for 51% off only at Health with Nino. Plus, by ordering today, you'll receive free VIP life health and fitness coaching for life, a free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, and a 60-day satisfaction guarantee and free shipping with your order, folks. You don't want to miss out on this. I say use this stuff with the red light. It's working for me. All right, folks. All right, Jim. Sorry about that. I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
You're doing your job. I gotta point out. Most all my friends say, "Hey, Jim, how do you keep young skin? No wrinkles, Nino.
No, you don't have any wrinkles.
73 years old, no wrinkles. I got a big scar here from a bicycle accident. I blacked out. That was 4 years ago. Anyway, my secret: I don't smoke. I don't drink. Lots of water, lots of juice.
Hydration's everything.
Hydrate. Well, yeah, but I don't drink any carbonated drinks. No soda, no Coca-Cola ever. Coca-Cola helped bring about stomach cancer for my brother. There's a nice
Wow.
advertisement for Coca-Cola.
Yeah, yeah.
I used Coca-Cola when I was a kid to clean the grease off my bicycle
And also,
gears.
it takes the crud off the batteries on a car, the corrosion.
Oh,
You
yes,
pour
yes.
Coke on that, and it just
Ah,
just take. Imagine what
imagine
it's.
what it does to your stomach. That's what it did to my brother's stomach, and he got stomach cancer. I warned him in
Wow,
1980.
wow.
I warned him in 1980. He said, Jim, you think you know everything about health? I said, I know a hell of a lot more than you do.
I know what to stay
And
away from. That's for sure.
I said,
I gotta
let's
stop drinking sodas. Sometimes I drink them, man.
they just drain your minerals, your zinc. Okay, zinc is important for your
All right,
immune
that's another
system.
program. Let's
Okay,
get back.
all right, all right. So anyway, I want to talk about the yen carry trade again because we got diverted. That's my way of saying you interrupted me. Anyway, they
All right.
borrowed they borrowed trillions of 0% money from the Japanese. They did it in the 1990s. They continued in the 2000s, and they bought and invested in 6, 7, 8% treasury bonds. They made a big Nino. They borrowed at zero and invested at 6 and 7 and 8. And now they have to unwind it because the Japanese are raising interest rates. They have now the biggest jump in interest rates and bond yields in a generation in Japan. And it's going to force Wall Street to start dumping their yen carry trade, which is treasury bonds. Okay, we've got we got a few trillion. I'm thinking the exchange stabilization fund going to lap it up, but just keep that in mind as a sidebar to what's going on, because Trump wants Powell to lower interest rates, and he's saying we got no inflation, and we got foreign investment in a big way, and he might be right, but we got a big debt, and that's one of the biggest reasons why Powell is not likely. Okay, now some people like Tom Luongo, I think he's one of the superstar analysts in our country, maybe even in the Western world. Tom Luongo, he's expecting a 50 basis point cut in July. Now that's a big bet, and the Fed funds futures are not agreeing with him. So this is a big thing to watch. Powell, I believe, is dominated by the bankers. The bankers told him don't cut rates. Because if you do, then just like I predicted this correctly a year ago, Nino, I probably repeated myself, but that's okay. A year ago, I said if they lower rates, the long end is going to go up. The long end will not follow the short end down. The short end will come down. The long end will say, oh, it's inflationary, and you get a steeper yield curve. Okay, very important point. I think Powell believes if they cut the rates, the long end will go up in yield and cause a problem with treasury bonds when we have auctions to sell. Okay, Powell is a banker tool. He's straight out of BlackRock. There's a lot of rumors that BlackRock has been taken over by the White Alliance. That's a very interesting point we'll talk about later. I think they might do an experiment and cut 25 basis points and be coy about another second cut to see the reaction by the long end. There's something that's going on at the same time, Nino. Okay, go ahead.
Have you heard that there's also another two bills coming down the pipeline? One to be in fall, and another one to be in early spring. That'll compound onto the big beautiful bill, because that's what I've heard.
I really don't know. I can't speak on what
Okay,
I don't know.
we'll
I
see.
don't
I
like
guess
making.
I'm not making it. I've just heard this. I don't know if it's true. I'm just asking if you heard the
They're
same
going to
thing.
be a steady caravan of new bills because we've got emergency measures. We've got a situation that's critical. We're closing in on 40 trillion. Can anybody believe that?
No.
Okay, a trillion $1 bills goes one quarter of the way to the moon. Okay, it's hard to wrap your head around what $1 trillion is. Yeah. Now back to Powell and the treasuries and monetary policy. For those who don't know what I mean by okay, the policy of setting interest rates by the monopoly that is known as the Federal Reserve that does not honor market forces. They do what they want. They got a monopoly on it. We don't have supply and demand dictating anything. Right now, we got a real big problem because the repo market is starting to expand in volume and cause problems. You know, Nino, it could be that the repo market, which is like the liquidity slush fund for big banks, the repo market might force Powell to cut rates. That's what I think is going to happen. And it won't be so inflationary as it would be if the repo market weren't in trouble. It's like a action reaction. The action is the repo market is up to like 12 billion in overnight, and it's causing a problem. The problem is alleviated by lowering interest rates. Okay, there are many moving parts. You can't just bring out one argument and say, well, therefore this is going to happen. Here's another moving part. The stable coins. The stable coins are really big. The stable coins are a phenomenon that is coming into view, and think of them as cryptos that are tied and linked very strongly to the dollar so they don't vary in value. So USD tether, the US dollar tether, what's its value? Well, it's always between 99.9 cents and 100.1 cents. Well, it's not an investment tool. It's a crypto device to be linked to the dollar. So if you've got a bunch of dollars and you want to move it into the crypto world, you buy stable coins, and USDT is one of them, but Ripple's RLUSD is another. Here's the wrinkle, Nino. Stable coins, to purchase them, you've got to post collateral, and it's got to be collateral that doesn't have a big yield. So it eliminates the 10-year bond. You cannot use 10-year treasury bonds to purchase stable coins. If you want a boatload, which is what Bank of New York Mellon and Bank of America want, they want a boatload of RLUSD from Ripple, the stable coin from Ripple Tech. It's got to be the low yield treasury bills. So actually, Powell is going to play into their hands by lowering interest rates and bringing about a greater volume of treasury bills, the short-term ones, in order for them to be used as collateral to buy stable coins in the trillions. The problem that the Fed has, the problem that the US government has, is that we got too many treasury bonds out there, the 10 years, because central banks want to earn a yield on their surplus trade, like in Germany, or it used to be Germany. Germany has gone suicidal. We'll talk about that in the next hour. But South Korea, they've got a lot of treasury bonds. It's their savings. They don't. Who would want to convert their surplus in trade to a 2% treasury bill when you can make it a 4% treasury bond? Okay, so they go longer maturity. That's a problem now for this conversion to stablecoin. And you know, I'm a work in progress for some of the stablecoin concepts. These are interesting, and I gotta just toss in. If you want to make a huge amount of money like the Bitcoin investors did, buy XRP. It's going from 2 to 200. Does that sound appealing?
No.
2 to 200? No. Okay. Doesn't sound good. I want something better than that. No, it's going to go from 2, presently it's now 2.3. It's going to go to 200 minimum, conservatively. So Bitcoin 2.0, your second chance. I had a friend in 2010, and he said, Jim, I bought Bitcoin at 100. I just sold it at 270. I haven't talked with him in a long time.
I'm only buying XRP right now, Jim. I mean, that's gold and XRP. That's the only. I feel like those are the two biggest or safest investments. So yeah,
silver.
gold, silver, and
silver
XRP.
and XRP. I'm with you completely. When people ask me what are your favorite, those are my three. But there's a stock that's also very good. It's Wheaton Precious Metals, WPM. They buy long-term contract, got loads of contracts for byproduct silver. So they don't mind. They just line up with a zinc producer that makes, 10% of their output is silver. And they offload it to Wheaton Precious Metal at a big discount, multi-year contract. Anyway, gold, silver, XRP, and Wheaton Precious Metal. Those are my favorite. And I got a track record on Wheaton Precious Metal. It's skyrocketing. For those who don't know what beta is, Wheaton Precious Metals has a beta of 2.5. which means it goes up 2.5 times as much as the silver price. 10% for silver, 25% for WPM. Anyway, that's another story. Oh boy, I'm telling you, I'm really wired. I
But
don't
do you think,
apologize.
are we still going to go into this like, I mean, are we still going to go into this reset, or is this going to be a gradual landing into a new system?
I think the reset has 15 steps, and we've already had about 11 of them. It's not going to be a sudden overnight reset. We're in
Because
the
I
reset.
don't feel like we could just break the country. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like, like completely just, I don't know, man. I have a hard time buying the whole 10 days of darkness thing. And I don't know. But I mean, I can see it being plausible. I can see it happening for the reset. But I mean, what would cause that? I mean, do you see banks failing and just the whole system shutting down?
I think that's an emergency measure for a climax of the reset. I'll say it again. I think the reset has 15 steps, and we've already done 11 of them. Let me give you one example. I've had a few different bank wires in the last month. I've had 3 or 4. The bank always says, tell James that the wire transfer will arrive in 2 to 3 business days. And I tell my friend or my colleague or my family member, 2 or 3 days? No, try 2 or 3 hours. Nino, I've not yet been wrong. It's 2 or 3 hours. That's one of the reset steps. It's QFS, and I believe we've got some crypto devices. I think we got XRP being used in a number of different banks, and they're not passing on the lower costs. They don't say to me, all right, James, to receive your $3,000, it'll be 18 cents. No, they say it's $15, $20. They're keeping the lower cost advantage. They're keeping it. Okay. Nino, if we get to 10 days of darkness, it's going to scare the shit out of me. If we get to 10
It's
days
gonna
of
scare the
darkness,
shit out of everybody watching this.
I think it's an emergency climax
But I mean, the EB,
option.
I can tell you this: the EBS, emergency broadcast system, was tested. What in October of 24 was it? Or I mean, I know it was tested, so something's got to be there.
They're putting that off. Trump has put that off. My military source says, I don't know if that's going to happen. If it does, it'll only be stage one, only stage one for let's just say difficult situation with the political elites and their corruption that involves some bankers set. Okay, I want to say it again. I think we had 15 steps for the reset, and we've already seen 10 or 11. We got some more coming. It's the climax I'm worried about that you refer to. If we go to blackout and we have no internet and we have no email and cell phones don't work and the electric grid goes down, it means that they're doing some military action at a national level that they want the people to be home for. And the problem is, will they be at home running out of food? That's the problem. Will they run out of cash? Will they run out of gasoline? Will they run out for, diesel, even for your own generator? Will they be running out of food? I don't know anybody who's got, well, that's not true. I only know just 2 or 3 people who have a lot of savings. I only know 2 or 3 people. And food supply. I only know 2 or 3 people.
I have food. I have buckets of food. I didn't go off and buy all this elaborate stuff at the grocery store because I really wouldn't know I don't really know what to buy. I bought, you know, buckets of food that I just store on my shelf. But I mean, I don't, if it goes longer than 10 days, I think most people are going to panic and we're all screwed.
Well, there's going to be a lot of panic. I got a question about the 10 days of darkness. Will your tap water work?
That's a thing. And
Because I have, let's just say I've got about 8 kilos of mulled beans. They call it molita. Black beans, crushed paste, black bean paste. You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
You're,
I've
you're,
heard,
you're a Latino. You know what the hell molita is.
I know.
Okay, black bean
Not that I
and
eat it.
I do.
I
I
know.
kind of like it. on crackers. Okay, if we go to 10 days, then my 8 kilos are going to keep me going for those 10 days. 8 kilos of black bean paste. Now that's I don't have, beef jerky and canned food. By the way, Del Monte just declared bankruptcy, Del Monte Foods. Uh-oh, I thought the economy was doing great, Donald. Okay, I'm 80%
But
pro Donald, and it's the 20% that really gets me worried
you
at
should
night.
be skeptical. I mean, everyone should. It's healthy. You shouldn't just put all your trust into anybody. And I know, hey, I know, I'm a pro Trump guy, but you got to still leave room for critical thinking. Obviously, you can't.
Yeah, and
It's not a
I'll leave my
cult. We're not
no.
following a cult here.
I know, and I'm not going to bring in my negative side, my negative comments. Hey, are we running? Is your timer about ready to click?
No, I already did the mid roll, so we're good. You want to go on the back channel now? Because I
Yeah,
know you want to go full.
I want to go full throttle. I want to go full throttle.
All right, let's go. All right, folks, we'll see you at Nino's Corner.tv. All right, Jim, I'll see you over there right now.
Okay, that was 30-minute segment, I believe.